Hi, I'm Captain John Kaiser, and in this video we're going to learn how to run some divers. In other words, deep six divers, dipsy divers, that kind of thing. And we'll go ahead, put them in the water, rig some herring to them, show you the best ways to fish them around the boat, and methods that work well for catching fish in the upper 30 foot of the water column. Okay, we have some deep six divers here. Now I don't fish a lot of them, but there are a place, and a lot of guys that don't have downriggers or want to supplement their downrigger spread will fish a deep six. They work very simple. They're just basically a controlled mechanism here. You see that it has a release on it. So when it fishes in the water, it's attached to your main line here. This goes to your lure back here. It actually pulls it down in the water. And they work very effective in the top 30 feet of water or so. And they have their place and work real well. One thing you don't want to do is pull anything heavy behind them. Where guys make a lot of mistakes is trying to hook up an 11-inch flasher behind us with a spoon on it. You're better off to just fish a spoon by itself, or something along those lines, maybe just a herring. My favorite is to just put a herring behind it. There's different sizes. They make them in different lengths, different weights, depending on what you want. The one I prefer the most, and the way I use it the most, is fishing it in the motor wake. This one here has a little bit of extra attractant on it. As you can see, it has this little fluffy stuff on it. It has a double weight system down here, so it's a little bit heavier. I go ahead and rig it up with some extra swivels on it, and then I just go ahead and run it back and put a whole herring or a cut plug herring on it, and I'll tie this into my main line. And the way I like to fish them is just let them back about 20-30 poles behind the boat. A pole would be from the first eye out, so you don't need to put them back very far. And I like to fish it just under my motor wake, particularly when there's coho around or I'm ocean fishing for kings. Putting it under the motor wake when you're trolling with your kicker motor creates a nice wake there. And having this dive just underneath the wake, not very far back, just 10-15 feet back, that wake of the motor will attract fish, and they'll come in. A lot of times we'll end up hooking big kings right on top of the water, even though we got our downriggers down a little bit deeper and stuff. And this creates noise in the water itself, just like a flasher. As it's dragging through the water, it's going to create a whooshing noise, and that helps attract fish. So this works real well. These, again, are just made by Deep Six. It's a good thing to have in the boat, have a couple of them if you fish them right. And just remember, the biggest tip I can give you is don't put too much gear behind them, because then they will not dive down. If you try to rig them with a heavy flasher on there, you're only going to get them down about a foot in the water, and they're not going to be very effective. But fishing them with a herring or just a spoon behind them works quite well for coho and for summer kings when they're up in the top of the water column. Doesn't work very well for winter blackmouth at all. Let's go ahead. I'll put this one down behind the boat in my motor wake with a herring behind it. You can take a look at it, see how it looks and how it fishes. Okay, as you can see, once you put the diver in the water with it hooked up correctly in the release position, it's a good idea to give it a tug once and just make sure it's going to release. But after that, like I said, my main thing is I put it down underneath the wake of the kicker motor. Once it's under that wake, man, that's like a really good spot to fish it. And you don't have to let it out very far. Just get it underneath the wake. Most of the time you're talking about 10 to 15 feet. And that seems to work well for me, particularly when I'm fishing ocean or estuary type fishing, and it prevents it from tangling in the downriggers. Well, I hope that helped you out. You saw how the divers worked, how I like to fish them underneath the motor wake, and like I said, that's a great method for fishing summer salmon. When salmon are up on top of the water column, and you have that opportunity to go after them, especially in the ocean or estuary type fishing, those divers are an awesome way to fish. I'm John Kaiser, and we'll be seeing you out in the water.